Yeah, how y'all doing out there, America, the world? We here with another episode of the Put to Bed podcast. You hear me?
Yes, sir. We back with another one. Well, we 20 something. Let's say that.
Yeah, I ain't lost count.
I didn't, but I might be one off. So mine
Yeah,
say
it's like 28,
26,
29. We
27.
barely
Yeah.
passed it. Yeah.
Also, then yeah. So I'm off. See, that's why you got another the number two, so they can tell you when you're messing up. So yeah, we back with another one. We about to come in with some topics, two topics tonight, and then a hot topic that's been out. People didn't seen, and we're just gonna talk about it a little bit. But
Yeah.
my question to my bro was streamers or rappers, because of the social media has taken over the world in a sense.
Yeah.
In my opinion, because I didn't grow. I mean, I grew up to very minimum social media. I mean, talking about Black Planet and what was the last one? MySpace. They had just came out a little bit. So this is all a lot of stuff. So streamers have more of a foundation. They have more platforms to put things out and stuff like that. And
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to ask you about it because you do rap, and I know that a lot of streamers they talk about that, like which ones that who making more money. Rappers, streamers, and I think recently, Lil Baby got into a little scuffle because he was with a streamer. They were going back and forth about who making more money or whatever, and got a little scuffle. So I don't know how true that is, but that's what I saw. So I want
Yeah,
to talk
I
to
ain't
you
even
about
hear
it.
about it.
Right. Because I know, like, for example, what's his name? DDG? Is it or Eden Ross or whatever? Like, these are
Mm-hmm.
big name streamers who make money while they sleeping. And I mean that in real life. Like,
Yeah.
you making money. And streamers have more, like, I would say, like, they making money by their loyalty to their fans. They streamers, they stay very consistent. So if you consistent and you making revenue, you're going to get a lot more. Like, you can make, I think one of them said
Mm-hmm.
you can make $1 million in, like, a matter of like 24 hours this streaming. Would a rapper would make that? Say they get like a sign on bonus for $1 million, and then they gotta pay their lawyers the what more than
Yeah,
me
everybody.
lawyers right, everybody basically, and they got that for that whatever that contract looked like, say 4 years, 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all they got is that million. You know what I'm saying? Not saying it's not that's all they got. It's a lot of money, but when you putting like doing like this to everybody, it doing those down. For
Yeah, definitely.
streamers, they are making money when they just by sleeping. I mean, that's not by sleeping, but even they sleeping because they didn't worked all day and they streamed all day and their revenue is coming through. So I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to like ask you, what's your opinion on that? Because I know as a rapper, it can change some things for you. Now you can do both. You can do both. That would be amazing. Like to be
Mm-hmm.
able to do both of those type of things. But like signed rappers, they're in a contract, so their money looks different than a
Yeah.
streamer or somebody who was free. What's it called? Independent in a
Opinion,
sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So like, I just wanted to get your opinion on that.
I mean, I think the biggest word that you just hit on the head is independence.
Mm-hmm.
So your independence, no matter what industry you in, your independence is always going to play a major role in how much revenue you actually see because
Right.
everything is your network versus how
Yeah.
much money you actually have and how much money is actually invested because you can have a net worth of 400 million, but do you actually have 400 tangible dollars that you can dig into the bank and take out of? Possibly no. That
No.
network could
Mm-hmm.
be an accumulation of your assets, of your houses, of your cars, of your businesses and your investments and all that type of
Yeah.
stuff. But everything isn't always tangible cash like what you actually have in the bank, what you actually have. And I feel like the biggest separation with that in the streaming world is the independence. Like a lot of them
Mm-hmm.
own everything that they doing.
They
They
do.
buying their own equipment, which is not very expensive. You get you a streaming, but the streaming book bag thing is probably the most expensive. You probably pay about close to 10 bands to just invest in yourself. Yeah, it ain't cheap.
Oh
But
wow.
everything else is like you setting up your camera, you setting up your iPhone, you setting up normal everyday stuff that you already have. You might get a ring light, you might get a phone, pick a
Yeah.
little room that you in, or go to a park or go to whatever and create your revenue. So the independence of it is like it's a less investment than it is to be a musical artist for
Mm-hmm.
sure in my eye. Because as a music artist, if you're not able to make your own beats, mix and master your own projects, and do everything, then you shelling out more money. Because in
You
order
shouldn't
to
have
put
my
out put
money.
together yeah, in order to put together an album or put together a mixtape or put together whatever project that you're trying to do, you got to pay the producers to make the beats.
Yeah.
You might have to pay the engineer to record you, and you got to pay somebody to mix and master it. You got to pay for artwork. You got to pay for you mean it's a lot of stuff that go into it. You got to pay to get it on
Mm-hmm.
streaming platforms and all that type of stuff. It's a lot more to go into it that you can actually end up putting investing more money into it than a streamer. A streamer ain't really got to invest a whole lot. Well, I mean, 10 G's ain't light, but you
Right.
can turn 10 G's into $1 million
A million.
versus in the rap world in that industry like that 10 G's. You're not gonna get it's harder to get a million off of that 10 G's as a musical artist than it is as a streamer. I feel like the streamers they have more independence. They have more creative control over whatever they putting out there. Like just
Mm.
looking at it from an independent artist standpoint, it's probably about the same. We probably can make about the same amount of money. I can make that same money in my sleep by putting out merch, putting out product, putting out music, putting out features,
Yeah.
putting out stuff like that, and then accumulate the same type of assets that essentially a streamer or basically personality would make.
You made.
But in the sense of a sign artist to a record label, oh yeah, I feel like it's
Mm.
very very possible that a streamer would make more than a signed artist because, like you said, when you sign that deal, you might sign a
Yeah.
deal for, say, just hypothetically, you might sign a deal for 3 million. That's like a loan. It's really like
Yeah,
a
it
loan.
is.
That's all it is a loan because you got a signing bonus. You might get signed for 3 million. Your signing bonus might be 2 million. The other million is put into your career where the label takes that other million and invests it into you. And now you got to produce product. If your project don't make that money back, then you owe that same money
You
into
owe
your next
that.
project. You might sign for four albums. You might sign for 3 million. Automatically, a million getting taken out for your budget. You got 2 million to play with. However you do that, whether you go put it on your image and buy cars, buy clothes, buy jewelry, whatever to make you
Right.
look like you really having it when you really not, and then you got to still worry about studio, you got to worry about production, you got to worry about videos, you got to worry about so much
Everything.
other costs that come out of it, and then say you do an album and that album only sell 800,000 copies and you only make $1 million off of that. Oh, you still owe that two
You still
million
owe.
back. So now you got to drop another project and you got to invest more money into that project and hope that you get out of it and hope that you're getting out of debt. Essentially, you getting a sign-on bonus is you accepting the debt. I'm gonna take this $3 million worth of debt and turn it over type situation. So and then you don't have the creative control. The label might be like, you might come to the
Yeah.
label with 20 songs and be like, okay, this what I got. This what I want to put out. Out of them 20 songs, it might get picked like 13 songs, and 13 of them songs, you probably only like or wanted to actually put out four of them, and the rest of them
Yeah.
was picked by the label and say, no, rap about this, talk about this, make songs about this, put this out, put this out. So the creative control is very different than a streamer or a social media
Hmm.
entertainer type situation. Like they're in more control of everything that they put out there of all of their content. You look at people like Kai Cenat, they in control of what they doing. Now,
Oh yeah.
do they have people that's throwing them money to say, okay, well, talk about Drake, the Drake and Kendrick battle going on. We need you to be on Drake's side. Like I'm gonna pay you this and that X, Y, and Z. So then your opinion and stuff may be limited, or you might be selling yourself, selling your soul a little
Yeah.
bit before the for that extra money or for that extra income, or a company might reach out to you. Under Armour might reach out to you and be like, look, we want you to promote our brand, we want you to promote this, we want to promote that, promote this, whatever, and they paying you to do so. It might be something that you actually wear, or something that you actually agree with, or something that's actually
Hmm.
correlate with your morals, beliefs, however.
Right.
But you still might accept that check just because it's an endorsement check.
It's an
But at
endorsement
the end
check.
of the day, yeah, it's an endorsement check. But other than that, I feel like other than that aspect of it, I feel like they got total creative control over what they put out there, their image, what they choose to put into the world and put into the ethers with they platform. So I
Yeah.
feel like in that aspect, yeah, it's very feasible that a social media person or content creator or streamer can be making more money or just as much
Hmm.
money as a musical artist. I mean, it's kind of sad to say
It
because
is.
it takes a lot more talent. Me as an artist, me as a musical artist, it takes a lot more talent. It takes a lot more soul. It takes a lot more. I ain't gonna say dedication because the people that's streaming and making money off of that, they doing it every day.
Every
They're doing it
day,
every day. You saying
consistently.
consistent
Yeah.
to be popping on TikTok and stuff like that. You doing it every day.
Every
To be
day.
popping on streaming sites and Twitch and all that type of stuff. You're doing it all the time. Some
All
people
day.
have
It's a
like 20,
job.
24 hour streams where they literally
Hmm.
streaming for 24 hours. So it takes about the same amount of dedication, maybe more dedication, because you're not in the studio every day. You don't have to put out a song every day to be a famous musical artist. You can put out one good song and get popping, and you become that. And then you
Yeah.
got time to sit back and create and go in the album, go in the studio and put together an album. And then you take another year off and put out another album. But streamers and stuff like that, they doing it every day. So the dedication and the consistency and the workload
Hmm.
probably a lot more for them to make that money versus a musical artist. But
I
as a signed artist, yeah, I feel like a content creator or a streamer can definitely be making more money than a signed musical artist, which is like it's kind of crazy to me. Like I said,
It
because a
is.
musical artist, you pouring out your soul, you pouring out your life stories, whatever you've been through, you putting your creative efforts into it. Like you got to really sit there and write it. Like as a streamer, I can just be like, okay, I can see something else, see some other content, and be like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna talk about this. Or I'm gonna talk about this. Sort of like how we do with the podcast, where it's like, okay, we see something in social media, or we read something, or we watch something, or we get inspired by something. Okay, I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna talk about this for an hour. I'm gonna sit and I'm gonna talk about this
Right.
for a couple hours. I'm a live stream about this. It takes effort. Don't get me wrong. It takes dedication.
It does.
Definitely takes dedication. It takes effort. But from the standpoint of doing this and doing music, the music is way more taxing on my creativity. It's way more
Mhm.
taxing on my spirit to be able to put out good quality music that not only is good and that people gonna flock to, but it also resonates with me as well, and it's also part of who I am type of situation.
Right.
So it's definitely I said it's a little sad that's the world we living in. But at the
It
same time,
is.
yeah, I feel like a streamer could be making way more money than the musical artist, especially if a nigga like Lil Baby, when you got somebody who's streaming every day and you ain't had a good project out in a few years, and you
Yeah.
had like your time can easily come and go. Just same thing with the streamers though, their time can easily come and go too.
Exactly. It can. Like, cause everybody got their time. Like
Hmm.
they season to blow up or whatever. Like right now it's streamers. And like you said, has it changed the culture though of music and how it's presented? Because like we grew up to radio and people out here really grinding for the
Yeah,
music, right? Going to shows, touring, and things like that. And even with all that, they still not making as much as a streamer because you gotta do all that to get that money.
yeah,
Or
fact.
I ain't gonna say that. They might be making as much as a streamer, but they have to do all that to
Yeah, you
make
gotta do all
that.
that. And
Right.
honestly, where artists that sign the record labels, like that's where the bulk of their money is coming from.
Yeah.
Shows, features, stuff that's like merchandise, stuff that's not directly to like off their albums, off their music.
Hmm.
That's probably where the least amount of their bag is coming from is off their music, off their albums, because there's so many hands in it. You got the label hands in it, you got your lawyers
Yeah,
hands in it, you got your it's so many hands in it that it's ridiculous. And then
it
out the
is.
gate, depending on the deal you sign, 9 times out of 10, man, if that project go for $9.99 on YouTube, out of that $9.99, you probably getting that 99 cent. The rest of that
Right.
$9 or $10 is going to your label and going to them other hands. And I'm being generous. Like less
No.
than it's really less than 99 cent. You probably getting about 7, 8, 10 cents off of a $10 project that you putting out there per sale. And even back in the days when you had to go buy CDs and the CDs was 15 to
Yep.
$20, they still was getting less than $1 off of each album. So if you selling 1 million copies, you're not making $1 million. Like, it's not happening unless you
When I was a
somebody
kid, I
like
thought that though. I'm sorry. When I was
yeah,
a
I
kid,
used
I
to think
thought
that too.
that. I did.
Me too. Unless you like, people. There's certain people like Drake. Drake that came in with a lot more creative control, a lot more. When you bargain correctly, and you know
Yeah.
your worth, and you come in the game with your own worth, then your leverage is different. When you got to leverage yourself to where it's like, okay, it's time to renegotiate. I want full creative control in my contract, and I want 50-50, or I want however the splits may be.
Hmm.
Then you can bargain yourself. But if you just get popping off of one song and now you that, and the labels come to you and want to sign you. Oh, you probably gonna get a bare minimum deal. You probably gonna get a 360 deal, and the 360 deal is bare minimum, and most artists are getting fucked
Right. Basically.
because it's groups and artists that we knew grew up on and that was popping. Like look at artists like TLC when they tell their story, and they had hits like
Yeah.
Waterfall. They had hits like all these
Hmm.
hits and all of these fans and all of these shows and all that type of stuff, and then you realize like then they putting out interviews and they putting out documentaries saying that they broke.
They broke. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that's
And that's when
crazy.
I learned. That's when I started learning more about the business side of music and stuff like that. Because, like you said, that's crazy thinking growing up and like, oh, they making money. What, like you said, waterfalls, scrubs, they had everything.
They
Like,
had
and they
yeah.
had different like generations of everything too. People like Unpretty, Body Image stuff. They had some real life songs, and they
Yeah, they
still
had real
made
songs.
hella money.
Yeah, but the
But
reality,
like you said,
reality of it is, it was a point in time in their career when it was broke. Look at T Pain, man. T Pain had the whole music era right now that we in right
mm,
now with the Future and the Drake and the Wayne and even like Kanye, Waste and Heartbreak. A lot of that stuff was inspired by T Pain. And I can say that for almost every artist right now because all of them use auto tune. But T
yeah,
Pain
they
was the
do.
first person to make it like part of the culture, hip hop, R&B. He was the person to bring that to the limelight. And it was a point in his career where he said he had to borrow money to get Mickey D's or get Burger King for his kids. Like he was the point where he was
Right.
broke and fucked up. And this is the person who ushered in a whole era of the music that we in right now to this day.
Exactly. And that's true. Like they paved the way, and now I feel like it's not fair though, in a sense,
No,
because
absolutely not. Absolutely
right,
not.
like because like a lot of them paved the way, and then now they got to work their ass off to even keep that. They got loyal fans, so they
Yeah.
okay with that. Like Wayne, he come here on the 22nd. I'm trying to go, but like that he's touring that money, so you got to do
Yeah, they
certain
gotta do
ads.
they gotta tour. They gotta do that. They gotta do tours and
Yeah,
shows and features and
yeah,
stuff like that to get their bag. When a streamer can be literally sitting in their room. They can do a setup like this where you go
and
on
that's it.
TikTok and buy a overhead light, get a ring light, get a little
Yeah,
podcast set up, get a sign, get whatever, and sit in your room, sit in your house and make millions out of your own house, out of your own comfort. I mean, it's
it's that easy.
versus them having to go, dig in their creative bag and really go put on the show and do all that type of stuff. Streamers and stuff like that, they don't have to do that. Like
Yeah,
it's an easier bet. Even if we are making the same amount of money, you getting it way easier. And like I said, you got to do it
easier
every
than.
day. You're doing it every day, but shit, that's the same thing as working a job. The average person who working a job just to pay regular bills is going to work
Yeah,
5 days a week. So you still doing it damn near every day. But so but the numbers is gonna be way different. So I feel like
right.
streamers are making way more money with less effort.
With less effort to put like they have to do consistent content,
Yeah, consistent content.
consistent to build up their
Yeah.
clientele and stuff. But like
And
you
not to say,
said,
yeah, yeah, not to downplay it and say less
no,
effort. I don't even want to say
exactly.
it like that because
No,
it
I
does
get
take
that.
effort. It takes consistency and it takes creativity as well. I'm not downplaying nothing that they do. I respect
Right.
everybody's hustle, but
Yeah.
just looking at it from both sides, like I feel like it's
Hmm.
easier for them and they got way and they control every aspect of how they get in their bag, which is
Right.
freedom, which is beautiful. That's what we
It
all
is.
seek, and that's what's sought after by everybody is financial freedom, the independence to be able to do it how you want to do it. Because we can all
Hmm.
walk away from our job and pick up the camera and make, even if we not making millions, if I can just make what I make in my job by doing this,
I'm done.
fuck that job.
Yeah, I'm done. Done.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for it, bro.
yeah,
Like, soon as I start, somebody know us, I'm out because it ain't. And we
hmm
don't even do this for that because we do this on the we do this on the flip side, like just putting our our words out there, our motive, like putting things out there for you. So we don't do it because we're getting something, but
yeah,
if
exactly.
you can, hell yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
get
and
that coin,
capitalize fully on it. So, but I do feel
get
like
that coin.
in this world that we living in the society we living in the state of entertainment that we living in right now, yeah, content creators, streamers, they got the upper hand right now. So that's my put to bedness on it. I feel like they do got the upper
Right. They
hand
have the
today.
upper hand right now. Do you think it's going to change going forward? Get like more balance or
Yeah. I mean, look at how long. I mean, music been around forever. People going forever. I don't really watch. It's no streamer. I can't name not one streamer that I consistently watch their
neither?
content. It's like I look forward to. It's people who put out content that I watch their YouTube. Like the people who real
Yeah.
creative and they got storylines and they really doing like a mini series and mini shows and stuff like that. But just to sit and watch you sit down with celebrities or sit and watch you laugh and joke or your opinion on music or see your reviews or see your reactions. There's nobody that I'm like that. There's nobody that I'm a fan of. Like, not to say
Yeah.
I'm not in a hating way, but there's nobody that I'm a fan of where I can't wait to see Castanet look at his next move or at Streaming
Yeah.
University. I didn't watch none of it. I didn't even know what it was until people told me about it and put me on it. So, but I feel like it's the total opposite with music because music can get you through hard times. Like we all have
Yeah.
been there down and depressed and sad and cried or gotten emotional or got uplifted and got happy to a certain artist or a certain song and we can correlate
Hmm.
memories. There's certain songs when you hear it and you get memories like, damn, I remember I was this at that time or I was with
Yep.
so and so or I was going through this. That's gonna always forever. That's gonna forever remain. Like it's been around for the longest and it's gonna continue to remain. So I feel
Yeah.
like music is gonna outlast the social media era. Period. Music
I
is just
agree.
capitalizing on the social media area at this point.
Yeah, and I agree. Like you said, music is going to always be around. It's always been around for us since we grew up, since our parents grew up, our grandparents. Like the other
Right.
day, to piggyback on what you said, like the other day, Thuggish Ruggish Bone came on, bro. And I was in the car. I turned that shit up full volume. And I'm in there like rapping every word to Bone Thugs. Didn't even know I still had it in me. And so I started rapping. I'm like,
Yeah,
I,
facts, facts,
and I was like, man, Leah, I was in well, I told somebody, mean, I was in the seventh, eighth grade when this came out, but I didn't hear
facts,
nothing but that song when I was in the car. That's the
facts.
impact it has. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because it's a frequency.
It's a
Ultimately, you
yeah.
got instruments. It's literally a frequency. It's a vibration. It's something
Hmm.
that's going to send emotional things to you. Something that's going to send you down your memory. Something that's going to send you down so many paths, emotionally and spiritually and physically.
Yeah,
And you mean so? But me talking there or just watching the content, like it's not the same. It ain't gonna do that. It ain't gonna do that. It doesn't have the
that same
scientific
feel.
components. Yeah, it don't have the scientific components to carry that same weight and that same structure on our DNA. So I feel like yeah, music is gonna outlast the social media era. Music has outlasted every era type shit.
I mean, every era, I think it's only gonna get stronger because of the platform with
Exactly.
like the platform that we have with social media and streaming and all that type of stuff. It might get more higher, and people need to
Yeah.
know how to let's see, get that money off that.
Yeah.
Like
But I mean, people
learn
like
how to.
you got people like T Grizzly who cold. I fuck with T Grizzly music.
Yeah, I
Midwest
like
Detroit
security.
dude. He make go crazy with the music, but at the same time, like he didn't put music to a back seat to stream. And he do video games now. He be streaming doing playing video games, and
Oh, I
that's where
didn't
he
know
getting a lot
that.
of his. Yeah, he get a lot of his bag off that. Like he said, he tell you that in his music now. He talk about it in his music now, where he getting a lot of his money more now off just streaming. I mean, like I said, the money aspect of it is there now, and it's
It
probably gonna be
is.
around for a little while. So where people are taking advantage of it, and big power to those who taking advantage of it. Get your bread, but I feel like music
It's
is gonna ultimately
big.
outlast it. The music, yeah, it's gonna ultimately outlast it though. But yeah, it's put to bed
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. I one just one last point. Like you said. I don't watch a lot to sit there and watch it either. But I know it's a generational thing. I know a lot of like 20 some years old. That's all they do because
Mm.
that's their really that's their
That's their
music. So
entertainment.
like
That's
we
their
had our
TV
music.
shows. Yeah, we had our
Yeah,
TV shows and series that we grew up and we watched and we sit in front of the TV and when can't wait to the next episode of Martin can't wait to the next
right.
episode of Fresh Prince or whatever it may be. They waiting on the next Castle Not stream.
Exactly, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
It's more of like a different outlook with generational. But I do think the money is there to make
Oh
and
yeah, facts.
capitalize on
And
that.
more power to the ones who doing it, man. I love to
Yeah,
see independence
absolutely.
and a lot of us, you know, that's a lot of the black ones is we take over everything anyway. So we the most
Right.
influential in that aspect anyway. So I love to see them young black brothers out there, you know, getting money off of their phone and their camera versus out here robbing or selling drugs or doing these other
Exactly.
stupid stuff. I love to
Yeah,
see it.
absolutely. It keep that money going around. But yes, for me, it's put to bed too, bro. I just wanted to get your outlook on it because it is very interesting to see how music and things with social media has changed the culture a little bit.
No, facts, facts.
But yeah,
But
let's moving
the
on.
next topic we're gonna jump into. So you know, like I said on our last episode, recently I was just in New Orleans, and prior to that, you know, I had watched the documentary of Hurricane Katrina and all that type of stuff, and it was something that
Mm,
really stuck out to me, and it's something that I debated about with a few people, and just you know, the aspect of it. It was Dr. Anna Pooh.
mm,
So during
yeah.
Hurricane Katrina, for those who don't know who Dr. Annapu is, during Hurricane Katrina, it was a hospital. I can't remember the name of the hospital right now. I'm sorry, but it was a hospital where a lot of people were housed that were victims of Hurricane Katrina and just in their period prior to it
Mm,
happening. And it was the whole debacle. There was a whole lot of stuff that went on around that where people was in there, you know, wall to wall. Like
yeah.
it's bunch of it's filled with patients, it's filled with victims, it's filled with Hurricane Katrina victims, and not only that, regular victims as well. And it was just so much stuff going on. And you know, the National Guard came when they finally did give a fuck and came and to them people aid. It was like some now or never type stuff. We come in to save people and we only got this amount of people. We only got this amount of seats on these boats. We only got this amount of bodies that could fit in these helicopters. We only got
Hmm.
this amount of space to save this amount of people. We only got this window of gap to save these people. Everybody else is getting left behind. And she took it upon herself to basically, essentially kill people.
Kill
She
people.
killed a lot of patients because they was the people who was gonna get left behind. The AC was out, the electricity was out in the hospital, so it's like essentially all these people that they leaving behind are left for dead.
Left
And
for
they left in
dead.
fucked up poor conditions. They left in here with no AC. They left in here with no power. They left in here can't walk or you know can't do for themselves. You mean old people? You mean like it was a messed up situation, and she felt like she was doing the dignified thing by taking them out of their misery, essentially taking them out of their misery. They finna sit here and they finna be in here and they finna suffer and they finna die. So I'm finna inject them with something that's gonna kill them immediately so they don't have to suffer. That was her
For
mindset
mercy
process,
killing.
and she did end up going to trial for these things. You know, losing her job, of course, but ultimately she was acquitted of all murder charges. They charged her with murder for all of these situations, and she was actually acquitted and found not guilty on all of these charges. So I just wanted to see, like, what was your opinion? Do you feel like she was right? Do you feel like she was wrong? What does your moral compass lead you in that situation?
Happy you said moral compass because I'm using that to guide me on this answer. Hell yeah, she
Yeah,
was wrong. Morally, as a doctor, you take an oath. Any kind of job you have a certain, like, like certain statuses, you take an oath, and she took an oath to protect, serve, and help people through things like that in health crisis, not to
yeah,
do a mercy killing because you feel like their life is okay. You feel like they're wasting away right here, so you feel like their life is not either. To me, I feel like she felt like their life was not valued, so why not? We don't need them because we can't help them out, so I'm going to do them a favor. It wasn't a favor. It was murder.
yeah,
And I feel like if it was a black doctor who was doing that same thing, it wouldn't have been acquitted. I'm gonna be real, because there's no way you can go in there like and literally murder somebody. I saw the documentary as well, and she made it in her mind feel like I'm doing right. I'm doing this. This is something I'm doing for them. I'm doing this for them. I'm doing them a
hmm
favor, and it wasn't a favor because that wasn't your favorite. It wasn't your job to take away their
It
life.
wasn't your decision. Yeah, it wasn't your
It wasn't
decision
your
to make.
decision. Not at
Yeah,
all. Like there was people in there with families, their families coming to see them, and then next time they come in, they're sick and they were improving, and now they're sick because you took it upon yourself feeling like you were doing them a favor and you wanted to make your job easier, basically to me, and get rid of all these people.
yeah, yeah,
And it made her job, well, it made their job easier because they had to put these people everywhere. Like you said, it was, we all been in the hospital. People are on the walls, in the hallway, in the waiting room. Millions of, like, a lot, not millions, but a lot of patients just waiting to be seen or waiting to hear what's going to happen. The whole thing is they're in this safe place, they thinking, and they're in the safe place
hmm
with doctors and people who are going to look after their life. And then you have this person who don't have that same outlook. That's why they don't have that same
yeah,
moral compass, because you
yeah,
can't, once you have that moral compass, it should not take you to that level. Like you already had that in you, to me, because I
yeah,
can't see myself be like going, being who I am, and then going to school and punching a kid. That's my moral compass. I'm not, that's not me. So you already had a little piece
yeah,
of something in there, like in there just waiting to wake up because you took that opportunity in a situation of Hurricane Katrina where everything is already fucked up and they're trying to
yeah.
keep the number of people that they have by counting them, and you're just, look, we don't need them. They I
See,
basically.
I'm gonna play the devil's advocate on this
I
situation
know you
because I
was. I was
honestly
waiting
don't feel
for it.
like just because I don't feel like that was her mindset. I don't feel like she did it maliciously. I don't feel like she felt like these people are meaningless. These people. I feel like she honestly thought she was
She was
doing them a
helping.
favor because she stayed back. She
Yeah,
pushed for them. She argued. She argued with the authorities. She argued with the name. What was the name? I just said that name. With the National Guard. Like she didn't want to leave
yeah,
that
she
hospital. She
was.
didn't want to leave them people behind. She felt like it was fucked up that they left them behind and let them to
Yeah,
die. So she felt like she
right.
was doing the right thing by just taking them out of their misery. I don't feel like it was done
I
maliciously,
get
like on
that.
some okay, I'm gonna take advantage of this opportunity to just kill people. I don't feel like that was her mindset at all. I really don't. And you know how I feel about
Yeah, I do.
certain
I do.
I feel like it's a lot of white people that
Yep.
do malicious things just for the sake of doing it. But I
Mhm.
honestly don't feel like that was her mindset. I feel like she honestly thought that she was doing the people a favor by taking them out of their misery because they was being left behind and she knew she couldn't bring them and she fought to bring them along and fought to
Yeah.
get them saved and she knew that the conditions they were being left in with no medical aid, no doctors there, no nobody, she felt like they were being
The
left for
help.
dead. So she felt like
Yeah.
she was putting them out of their misery. That's
Putting them out
one
that
side of
misery.
it. But
Yeah.
the other side of it though, the other side of it, I agree with you because that's not your decision to make. Essentially, you
Exactly.
playing God. You playing
You
God
are.
because you feel like no matter if you feel like okay they left for dead, then leave me, leave me. If I got a 50-50 chance of surviving, leave me with that
Believe
50-50 chance.
me.
It's not your decision to just medically induce me with something that's gonna kill me. It's not your decision to make to just kill
It's
these
not.
people. Mercy killings. No matter if you do it out of the kindness of your heart, no matter how you did it, like it wasn't your decision to make. You
It
playing
wouldn't.
God, and I feel like that's also something that the pale skinned people do when they feel like they have
Yes.
control that it's a decision to make to play. I'm being dead ass. I feel
What?
like
Wait.
they
Wait.
feel like
Wait.
they
I gotta go back for a second. What'd you say? The pale.
pale skinned individuals.
Oh,
Pale skinned individuals do have that high horse and they feel like they superior and they feel like they have the right to make the decision of who lives and who
yeah.
dies and they feel like they can play God. And I feel like
Yeah.
just overall aspect of how life has been in America gave her the notion to feel like that was cool and that she was
That was
not
cool.
going not she was not going to go to jail behind it. And ultimately, it was proven right that she
She
didn't go to
didn't.
jail behind it. And I feel
Exactly.
like like you said, if it had been a black doctor, oh, that trial would have been a lot longer. It would have been a lot more naysayers, and they probably would have did some time. But I feel like
Hmm.
because she was a white woman, it was more justified in her and not even in her mind, but in the community. And I feel
In the
like that's
community.
fucked up. But at the same time, I
It,
don't honestly feel like I don't feel like she was doing it maliciously though. I feel like she was using her moral compass, but her moral compass was misguided by white privilege, and that
yeah.
ultimately led to her making that decision. It didn't. I ain't even say it backfired for her because right now, to this day, she
She's
still
free.
is actively working in the she's still actively working in the medical field in New Orleans to
Well, I
this
thought
day. Has a job.
she didn't lose her license.
She lost that job, but she's still active to this day. She's still actively working as in the medical
That's
field
that.
in New Orleans. So that just also goes into white privilege and how the unbiasedness of it and how the scale tips for the pale skinned individuals. But ultimately, I
Yeah, because
don't feel
that's
like
my
she was doing it out
experience.
of I don't
Out of
yeah,
maliciously.
no, for real.
And
I honestly don't. I don't feel like she did it maliciously. I don't feel like she had evil in her heart when she did it. I feel like a lot of the things, like I said, like racial things and white superiority in their mind played a
hmm
role in her moral compass for making that decision. But I don't feel like it was evil. I don't feel like she had evil intent. I feel like
even
she
intentions.
honestly thought she. But that's the messed up part about the world that we living in and the America that we living in is because this lady ultimately really thought
She
she
was
was
doing
doing the
right.
right thing
Hmm.
by killing a bunch of people, and
By killing
nobody
a bunch
has
of
the right
people.
to play God. Yeah, nobody has the right to play God. Like if I got a 50-50 chance of living or dying because of the conditions I'm in, then leave me with that 50-50 chance because it's a chance I might
Right.
survive.
It's a chance I might survive. And if I don't, that's God's will. It's
Let
not for
that be
you
God
to
will.
decide that.
It's not for you to do. Yeah, exactly. But
I,
that's my honest opinion
so
on that. I mean, it's really.
So when
Go
you say
ahead.
it like that, I mean, it do make me think of like I don't think see the people make the pale people make me think that because of my experience with them, make me think it was
Exactly.
malicious. So I'm trying to give her a little grace, and I'll backtrack a little bit. Don't usually do that, but I do see what you're coming from. It wasn't
Yeah,
malicious thing. It was more like I'm helping them. They can't go with us. They're what struggling. They're hurt. Some of them are
yeah. Because
dying.
a
So
lot of
I'm
them
gonna do
couldn't
them a
like they
favor.
couldn't make it to the boats. They couldn't make it to the
Yeah.
rooftops to get on the helicopters. They couldn't make it out the window to get on the boats and stuff like that. A lot of them were people who were like couldn't walk, couldn't move, old.
Right.
Like they was already messed up. They was already in poor conditions where they couldn't save them. So the only option they had was
Themselves.
to leave them there. Yeah, but shit, leave me there, leave them there. Like
I'd rather
I
have
feel
been
like
left
I
there
said, I
because
feel like it wasn't out of yeah, but like I said, I feel like it wasn't out of evil content. But I feel like the white superiority complex, the white prejudice complex, all of the American traditions that we have led
yeah,
her to make her think that she was doing the right thing, and ultimately she did get away with it, which is crazy.
made her think that she had the right to do that
To
in
right to
her on
that,
her
exactly,
terms. Yeah, on her terms,
exactly.
not the family's terms, not the patient's terms. Because we, as in the medical field, you're supposed to listen to that patient. There's no way one of them was saying, go ahead and hit me with one,
Take me out.
because
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying. So it's yes, I do agree with you. I don't think it was done maliciously, but she damn sure should be practicing still because. First off, you still did something, a lot of something, and who knows if
Right.
you get that inkling again? Because there are some doctors who out there do it maliciously to kill, because they
Oh yeah.
are, that's a pleasure. So
Yeah. Fact.
I just feel like I don't know. It's I don't think I think she should have got some charges, and I do think like she should be practicing, but that's not for me to say.
Yeah. Fact.
Like it's.
Because just like I might be drunk and driving my vehicle
Right,
and run somebody over. Doesn't mean I meant to do it. Doesn't mean I had
exactly.
malicious intent. I just was in the wrong mindset,
Wrong
and
mindset.
I'm thinking like, okay, but I ultimately ended up taking somebody's life. You still finna go to jail for involuntary
Yeah,
manslaughter. You still finna go to jail for vehicular homicide. You still finna do some kind of time because ultimately you still took a life. Whether you meant to do it or not, whether it was an
or
accident
not.
or not, your intent was good or your intent was evil. You still took
Hmm.
several lives in that incident, and
In that incident,
some kind of justice should have been done for them families. Some kind of repercussions should have still been implemented. Even if she didn't go to jail, she should have lost her license. You shouldn't be still working in.
you
Even if
shouldn't be
you went
practicing.
from just being a regular, yeah. Even if you just went from a regular doctor to a throat and neck doctor, whatever you're doing,
Yeah, you
you
shouldn't be
shouldn't still be
practicing.
able to.
Nah, You shouldn't be
Yeah, you shouldn't still have
allowed.
that same. You shouldn't still have the same power that you had when you made those decisions, because ultimately you was playing God, and those decisions were not valid. Like, you might not have
No.
ill intent when you did it, but it still wasn't valid, and you still shouldn't be put in a position of power to make decisions like that ever again in
Yeah.
your life.
Exactly. Like, I mean, just like giving some context, like as a social worker, I see a kid at school with a black eye. As a mandated reporter, my job is to call that in. Now, if I say no, I'm not gonna do it because I know the family. I'm just gonna, brush it under the rug. And then a week go by, I don't see this kid. 2 weeks go by, I don't see this kid. Then I get a phone call that something happened to this kid. Like, certain things you have a moral compass and guide for a reason. I ain't saying that she should have
Hmm.
rethought how she did it, especially as a doctor, because you people trust doctors, trust your medical professional, and if you do things like
Hmm.
that, I can't fuck with you. If I see her name on the badge when I'm going to see
Facts.
somebody, I'm
And then,
out.
like you said,
I'm out.
yeah, and then
But
like you
it's
said,
put to
like
bed for
even how
me,
you just
dog.
put it in context, how you just put it in context with the analogy that you said. And after this, I'm gonna put it to
Hmm.
bed myself too. But just how
Yeah.
you put it in context with the analogy that you just gave as a social worker. Like, you probably might thought, oh, I know the family, I know this or whatever, and
Hmm.
you might be using your moral compass to guide you in the decisions you're making. And now 2 weeks later, this kid ends up dead, and you thought you was doing the right thing.
Right.
But at the end of the day, we have to be held accountable. Everything has a procedure.
Everything we have
You have
accountability.
like you said, you took an oath. You took an oath, and your job is to follow that oath. You're not in here to
Yeah.
just use your moral compass. You're not in here to
Yo,
just make decisions
exactly.
based on your own discretion. You in here to
Hmm.
follow the procedures, to
The
live up to the
protocols
morals,
that's
the
put in
code, the
place.
conduct of the protocol and the
Yep.
procedures of your job. Anything you do outside of that should be judged, and should be looked at questionably, and should be and you should suffer some
You
kind of
recommend
consequences
it.
for going outside of
Hmm.
that protocol. You should be recommended
I
for going
agree.
outside of protocol. In the day, if your moral compass is telling you do this, and you feel in your soul to do this, and you unsure, do what you get paid to do. Do your job.
Do what you
Do
get
your
paid
job,
to
and do
do.
and just do what you get paid to do, and just do your job, and nothing more, nothing less. Because at the end of the day, anything else you're doing is playing God. You making decisions for people when
Yeah.
you do not have that authority. You don't have that authority. Just do your job. Do your job, and when you tired and you don't know to do this or don't know to do that, go straight. Do what they're paying you to do.
Do they paying you to do it? If
But
you
just put the bed
can't,
for
then you
me on
need to
that
probably,
note.
yeah. And if you can't do that,
Move
like
around.
like you said, then you move around. Cause
Move
move
around.
around.
But no, other than
Yeah,
that,
but
put the
put the
bed for
bed
me.
up. Yeah, me too, bro. So our last hot topic of the night, we had, I'm gonna say her name right, Shacarri Richardson. She bomb as hell. She
Shakari,
a track
Shakari.
star. Yeah, Shakari. I said Shakara. I just made her name start off shit. Say her name again. Shakari.
Shakari Richardson.
Shacarri Richardson. We all know her. She's been in the news for a couple years now. She wears her hair, she wears her nails, and she runs her ass off. And she's beat a lot of records and stuff like that. And she's rough around the edges. Hey, I am too. You ain't as polished as everybody else. It is what it is. But she's dating another
Mm-hmm.
track star, a young man,
Mm-hmm.
and they had a domestic violence situation at the airport. Now, when we hear domestic violence, of course, we think extreme domestic violence. Like, it could be as simple as a shove. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to grab something from you,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And that's what happened. Basically, she was in his face. She was trying to take his book bag. He like, go on, man, go on. And then you jump in his face like, I gotta say, blah, 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 blah. And then police got involved or whatever. Police got involved. She got arrested for DV. She got released, but the thing is, like, they said she hit her boyfriend. A push. You shouldn't put your hands on nobody, man or woman, because if you can't,
Yeah.
no, don't do that, because then you get yourself in some hot
Facts.
water. But the thing is, like, it wasn't. I don't want to say it wasn't as big, because any domestic violence situation is big, but they blew it up because I think of who she is, and then because of her
Mm-hmm.
accolades, because they want to break. I mean, they've tried to break her down before because she got tested positive for marijuana
Thank you.
before. Yeah, and then they
Mm-hmm.
tried to take that away from her then. But it seemed like because she's at this status, she's trying to move up some more. Everything you do is on under a microscope, basically, which you should live by for
Yeah,
real,
facts.
because you in the public eye, you gotta always be in your p's and q's. But that's what happened, and I wanted to get your thought on it.
Mm.
Now, before I like open it up, I'm really into like doing research on DV. I look a lot into it because my own personal reasons. I'm anything. I just look into it, and I did see a bill that was
Mm-hmm.
passed in 2024 in Idaho. It's called the House Bill, either the House Bill, Idaho House Bill, and basically saying that like any serial domestic violence offender is going to spend more time in prison, longer sentences if it's you are a chronic or serial DV, meaning like you done it more than one time or more than two times or
Yeah, you
whatever.
more than one time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
basically one on one time. So I just wanted to get your outlook on it because women can abuse men too. We've seen it a lot of times, and this is basically a potential situation like that. So I
Yeah,
just wanted to get your outlook on like the hot topic right now. What you think should have done, what should have done differently, possibly, or do you think it's fair? Because once you put that invitation in there, oh, Shakari, Shakari, now she hit her boyfriend that follows you. So I just want to
yeah.
hear your thought on that before we close it out.
I'm gonna be real quick and short since it's our hot topic. I'm gonna play both sides again.
I know you always would.
I got to. I gotta look at everything by both sides. I can't
I
just really
know.
be just.
I like
Sometimes I'm
it.
right. Sometimes I might be far right. Sometimes I might be far left, depending on my
Yeah.
conviction on the situation. But if it's something like this that's like something, sometimes I can just. And most things I gotta look at both ways. I gotta always look at
Right.
both sides of good. It's two sides to every story.
It is.
So for one, I feel like where she messed up at is because, for like you said, she was already under scrutiny. First of all, you a powerful
Yeah.
black woman, you a strong black woman, you a powerful athlete. These people don't want to see you in power.
They want
You
to see
got
you
to know
win.
that. You should already know that because of the weed thing. When you tested positive for marijuana and they tried to strip your titles away, they tried to tear down your legacy. When marijuana has nothing to do with how fast you run, it has nothing to do
Right.
with your performance at all. It's not a performance enhancement drug. If anything, it probably make you less. It probably make you
It's
slower. It could probably
depressant.
make you less reactive. If anything,
Right.
so her testing positive for marijuana should have nothing to do with her legacy and her greatness. And they did try to make it about that. So that should
They
have opened
did.
her eyes to let her know that I am under a microscope. I got to move a certain way. I can't do certain things in the public, and she
Mm-hmm.
should be more careful of how she moving. So yeah, that's strike
Absolutely.
one against you. You got to be more cognitive, and you got to be more cognitive. You got to recognize what's going on and recognize the world you're living in, and also recognize the skin that you in. You are a role model for people.
Right.
You are a role model for young black women. Or even if you choose to be or you don't, you can just be you just
Mm-hmm.
living out your dreams. You don't care what people think about you. That's cool too. But you also have to realize the power that you yield. When you step
Yeah.
into positions like that, you ultimately have a spotlight on you, and you ultimately have people. When your spotlight is on you, you're gonna have people that idolize you and people that look at you as role model, and you're gonna people that hate you and envy you for the
Exactly.
position that you're in. And you got to be aware of that. So you can't let your emotions, you can't let that type of stuff slip and reveal certain things to the public because it's gonna get blown out of proportion. She should have learned that from
It
the first time.
is.
So I do gotta say that. And two, this goes for male or female because a lot of women, and I'm not downplaying it. I'm not justifying no men hitting no women.
Yeah.
And my mama told me, I don't know, mom, put their hands on you. You put that you feel me when you step into that light of you put your hands on somebody, you opening the door for them to put their hands on you.
Hands
So
on
you
you.
don't want to be touched. Don't touch nobody. You don't want me to hit you. Don't hit
Mm-mm.
me. Don't put your hands on me because I
Don't
might
hit
put my
me.
hands on you, and I might not want to. It might be a reactive thing, and I might be damn, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Whether male or female, I might sock a nigga in this mouth because he put his hands on me, and I didn't even mean to fight. But just because of reaction,
Exactly.
just because of my natural instinct, like bro, you
But
getting too
natural
close,
instinct,
or
yeah.
girl, you getting too close, I'm gonna push you back. Like, don't put your hands on nobody if you don't want nobody putting their hands on you. So that's simple playing. We learned that as kids. So for
Yeah,
her to
we
put
do.
herself in that position to even have that microscope on her, I feel like she makes mistakes. I feel like she made mistakes that she could have and should have avoided. And don't
Yeah,
let your
I agree.
emotions and stuff guide you and make those decisions for you. I feel like those are her mistakes. On the flip side, her boyfriend came to her defense and didn't want no charges pressed. Like you said, it
Oh,
wasn't like she gave him no black eyes. It wasn't like she stabbed him. It wasn't like she wasn't no brutal situation. So it was clearly something where he can overlook it. So if he can overlook it, I feel like the law and everybody else should overlook it because at the end of the
overlook
day,
it.
he's the victim. And if the victim is like, no, I'm cool. No, I mean, and sometimes that's not always not right because you can be getting
Right.
brutally beat up, and a female to still come to the male's defense, or the male still might come to the female defense when they really in a situation that they shouldn't be in. So I ain't gonna say always
Mm-hmm.
look at it like if they not willing to press charges or if they don't want nothing done, we should all look the other way. But in this sense, it wasn't that major. He don't want no he don't want no kickback, no charges
Let's see.
pressed. Let it be, let it be. So and I feel like people are gonna blow stuff out of proportion anyway because she's a powerful, strong black woman and because of the
Yeah.
platform she has. So it's always gonna be some kind of scrutiny. So that's just my whole
Always.
take on it. Whether it was right or wrong, whether she was innocent, guilty. I'm not the judge, juror on that situation to say that
No.
situation. I'm just looking at the pros and the cons and both sides of the coin on it. Like do better in your
Yeah.
discretion, do better in controlling your emotions, do better in realizing that you are a public figure and that everything you do can and will be used against you.
You can and will be used against you. Even at the airport.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? Like there's always somebody watching. So like even with a regular little person like me, I'm always looking at my surroundings because you never know who watching. Like somebody's always gonna see something and use it against you if they can. So don't even give them that opportunity. Lastly, like bro said, don't put your hands on the next person if you don't want that reciprocated, because once y'all get the shoving back and forth, that can only turn into punching back and forth or anything's back and forth. Now, what I read, she got in his face like a black woman would do. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm happy he spoke up for her, because it
Yeah.
could have been different, because that does change people's perception of him. Like, okay, well, it wasn't that deep. Because they blow the shit up. So like, okay, it wasn't that deep. It was just like a minimal thing. Police got involved, whatever. But y'all made it seem like she up in there busting the upside the head. Like, it was an altercation more than a DV situation to me. So they need to
Fact.
reword, because some of their words
Yeah,
condemn
fact.
black
But
people.
they've been looking for that.
Yeah, they wanted to condemn her. That's why they use those
Facts.
certain words. So yeah.
Facts.
So but like bro said, be aware of your surroundings, always be on your P's and Q's, and make sure you know you are a public image. You gotta be looking, you always gotta be top tier. If something happen, do that in private, because nobody wants to be a role model all the time. But when you put yourself out there, you are a role model. And that's just what you have to live by. But yeah, broski, I'm all set.
Facts. You might not want
It's
to be
put
a
to
role
bed
model,
for
but
me.
ultimately you are.
Yeah, it's put to bed for me though. I just wanted to like put that out there. Like
Yeah, it's put
you
to
never
bed for
know
me
who
as well.
watching. Yeah. But yeah, another one. We back with another one. We was
Yeah.
done with that one though. You
Yeah,
know?
another one, man. You know, I only got one more thing to say, man. Rest your eyes, but don't rest your mind. Don't rest your spirit. Don't rest your soul. Don't rest your ambition. You hear me?
Yes, sir. And again, if you fall, get back up. This is to, I'm gonna say her name right, Shakara. If you can fail a little bit, baby girl,
Shacarri.
get back up, dust yourself off, and keep it moving. Shakari, sorry girl. And keep it moving, and then don't let nobody take that narrative and run with it. You know what I'm saying? Change that for yourself.
Facts. Facts.
Yay. All right,
All right, man.
broski.
Y'all be smooth, man. Love, blood.
Love, love. Yep, we
Yeah.
out.
I've been studying the bane in my existence. They try to write me off, but I keep taxing them consistent. You don't know the pain of being trapped inside the system. Soon as they read you your rights, you know you on your way to prison. It's a trap. And why the hell you think they call it that? Trust falls the way I'm comfortable with falling back. Fell out with